Is it going?
Yeah.
Oh. Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Manu Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
I was just trying to get to the page and something else opened and it was a picture of a devotee with a t-shirt on it said, I lost my shoes in Vrindavan.
We know that one. I think I'm going to put this down. Sorry everyone. There we go.
Dandavat Pranama Vaishnavas. So, we will begin with the auspicious invocation, Mangalacharana, which you can find in this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Ramananda.
I was just talking about him.
Oh, we have missed you, Ramananda.
Nandu!
So Devi was just saying, where's Nandu?
It's very bad.
Huh?
There we go.
I didn't do that. Okay, so Mangalacharan begins now. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Quick story. I just took off my ring and placed it here, and suddenly I remember Gurudev. So this is my wedding ring, but this ring has been on Gurudev's finger more than once. In 1996, when we first came to Braj Mandal Parikrama, we of course went to Mathura. We would start there with our Srila Gurudev. And in order to play mridanga, if anyone plays mridanga, you know you have to take your rings off, otherwise you just get your finger beat up by the ring between the mridanga and it also damages the mridanga. So I had it in my pocket here. And then at the end of Kirtan, as we all do, we offered our obeisance. And when I got up, I didn't realize my ring was missing until I saw it in the hands of Subal Saka Prabhu, whom we now know as Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja. He was holding it. Look, I didn't know him at all at that time. It was the first week or so we were here in 96. He's looking at it like this, and I said like this, it's mine. And he went like this. And then he handed it to Gurudev, and I was like, oh my God. And then Gurudev's looking at it on his finger like this. And I was like, it's mine. And he gave it to me, but then another devotee had lost their passport, another one had lost their money belt with all of their money and their passport and everything else, another one lost their watch, and Srila Gurudev just started laughing. He said, an Indian would never lose gold, but you from the West, you have so much that you can easily lose your valuable items. So he was making a joke about it. And another time, we were in Fiji and it was Ekadashi. And I was told that on Ekadashi, Kali Maharaj enters into so many different substances, grains and beans, wherever there's hoarding of wealth. But the way they told us when we were young was that he goes to where there's gold. So Sudevi had her Mangal Sutra. It's the necklace that a woman gets when she gets married. She had her gold earrings, her gold nose ring, and maybe her gold ring or something like that. And so I told her to Sudevi that you probably shouldn't wear gold because today's Ekadashi. And she's like, I don't believe you. And I said, no, it's true, it's true. She said, well, Gurudev's right there. He was just sitting there reading something. She's like, why don't we ask him? She's like, Gurudev, Kishori Mohan Prabhu just said that we shouldn't wear gold on Ekadashi because Kali Maharaj enters into gold on Ekadashi. And Gurudev said, where is he? Come here. So I came there and he said, give me your ring. So I took off my ring and I gave it to him and he put it in his pocket and he said, now Kali Maharaj won't touch you. So
Then I asked for it back.
and then Sudevi asked for it back and then gave it back to me, and then since then, well, you can decide if Kali Mahārāja has touched me or not. But anyhow, so Gurudev made this ring, Mahaprashadam. So when I went to put it here, because I'm going to be playing Mridanga, I just remembered that sweet interaction with Gurudev. He was very sweet and personable. When he was on the Vyasa-san, of course he was laughing, joking, but he was very stern. He was very heavy. But when he was off of the Vyasa-san in his room and there was personal interactions, he was so accommodating, so, gentle, understanding, and encouraging. Very sweet. Sometimes strong, but also with so much affection. So now we will begin our Mangalacharan. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakam Shri Guru Vaishnavashtra Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vipankam Sajivam Sadvekam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vipaksha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Auraryamadhuryamunashchayuktam Varam Purusham Mahantam Nārayaṇam Tvam Shirasham Namami Tridantinam Bhakta Shiromanim Shri Krishna Padam Jagataika Hriddi Chaitanya Lila Vritasarasaram Nārāyaṇam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapreshthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyāno Keshavayati Namine Atimatya-charitrāya Svashritānaṁ Shapāline Jīva-dukhe sagartāya Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhari Devi Nalitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyan Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premabhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktidāna Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gaurava Papa Siddhanta Dvantahārine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhi Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandalamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gauravirbhava Bhumestvam Nirdishta Sachana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhan Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandamatergati Vatsarvasvam Padam Dojo Radha Madana Mohanam Nivya Vrindaranya Kalpakumaro Śrīmad Ratnagara Sindhasanastho Śrī Radha Śrī Govinda Devo Presthani Sevyamano Smarami Śrīmandra Sarasarambhi Vamshivatattasthitaha Harshannenu Smarargurubhir Gopinatha Shristunaha Vrindane Tulasi Deve Priyaya Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamaha Damagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam Vidyamadhu Jivanam Anandam Budivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashwananam Sarvatma Samanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Eva Devanam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Nadirandaka Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
So today, Thakurji has
Is
new
Raktambar
shringa,
Prabhu there?
a new outfit. I don't know, is Raktambar Prabhu there? If I don't see his name, we will mention it later. We can mention it now and later. I don't see his name yet. So if you all are here at the end of this program, then you will have close-up darshan of Thakurji. Staples. Shuddh Adrak Kandavati. Gurudev Kabe Tava Karuna Prakashe. Page 35. Kārtika As I was reading the translation of this while I was singing it, this last line struck me. The materialist will proclaim me to be a madman and throw dust on my body. So we've seen this also in the history of Mahārāja Rishabhdev, also with Shukadeva Goswami, and really so many Vaishnavas. In Śrīmad Bhagavatam, there it is stated, Evam vratasva priya namakitya jatanurago dhrita chitta uchchai asatyato roditi roti gayat yunmadavan vrittati lokabahya. That when the devotee becomes fully absorbed in Hare Krishna, someone's trying to call me. When the devotee becomes fully absorbed in kirtan, so deeply absorbed, then they begin laughing, crying, dancing, sometimes roaring and rolling on the ground. All ashtasattvic bhavs begin to manifest from them. And it says that they become indifferent to what anyone else has to say or think. So people will abuse, but you won't even realize it, because that is the nature of a madman. When one becomes completely covered by prem unmada, the madness of divine love, then what is there in this world that can distract them? In one sense, it's like the transcendental opposite of what Gurudev said about ourselves in this material world. Actually, we are all like mad people. We are intoxicated with this material world through enjoying our senses, or through the medium of our senses. And we have taken false identities according to each body that we have acquired since time immemorial. I am this is my family, this is my place, this is my world of enjoyment, I am the center of my universe. And so Srila Gurudev explained that we are like completely drunken, intoxicated persons, thinking that we are emperors of the world. And as we are intoxicated, we'll fall face first into a ditch. And some dog will come and urinate on us, and others will come and start licking our feet. And we'll think, my wonderful followers are giving me abhishek and worshipping me. Gurudev explained it like this. So this is the material version. And the spiritual version will be when one is completely mad in praying. They will also not know what's going on with their body. They'll be so absorbed in their divine loving service to Krishna. And people will laugh at you, will mock you, but it won't make any difference. Why? As Rupa Goswami says, Tunde tandavani vitanute tundavali labdhaye karna krodha kadam mani katayate karnavudibhyaspriham. So, I didn't want to chant the whole verse, I can, but he says, how much nectar is within these two syllables, Krishna? How much nectar is there? I require millions of tongues. This one is not sufficient. Millions of ears. These two are not sufficient. And when that name somehow finds itself within the depths of the cave of my heart, all of my senses will become inert. It means I won't be absorbed outside. I will be fully absorbed inside. So whatever happens on the external, zero awareness. That's why Krishna himself takes personal responsibility. For that person, I carry what they lack. I preserve what they have. Rakshishyatiti vishwaso goptatve varanam tata. Krishna is your protector. Krishna is your maintainer. For that person who completely absorbs themselves on the path of bhakti, surrendering to Krishna, then there is nothing else to do. Sarva karma krita hoy. All other external activities are automatically managed. As Srila Guru Govinda Mahārāja would say, nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. It's a very high state, but it will come eventually if we are following. But don't worry, when that time comes, I used to be worried about it. You know, sometimes you might be chanting or feeling something, maybe weeping. What if I can't stop? What will happen if I step over that cliff of uncertainty? Is there another step there? I can't see where I'm going, but I'm just trying to follow Gurudev. And then you back away. Wait a second, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. What will people think of me if I go mad? But Srila Gurudev said a mad person doesn't know that they're mad. And look at all of the mad people that we know. Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Govinda Mahārāja, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhakti Rakshak Śrī Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. They're all mad and praying for the Lord. However, somehow externally it is managed that they are the most dignified persons in all of the world. So we don't need to worry either way. And I'm speaking to myself, and you can take it for you as you like. If we just continue and don't worry about that, our only worry should be, where is Krishna? Is dust being thrown at you, Ramananda?
You know, I was thinking about Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur in that.
Can you come and tell it here?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm just doing Thakurji's outfit. There's this story about Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur and how when there used to be somebody who used to criticize him, call him names. Oh, you think you're so great, you have all these disciples.
He's always criticizing him.
When you said throwing dust on my body, I was thinking that those criticizing and those doing those types of things, it's like dust on their body. They're completely mad and aloof to it. But when he left his body, that man who would criticize Saraswati Thakur, many of the disciples of Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur were quite happy that he was gone. They had to tolerate it because Srila Saraswati Thakur wasn't, stopping it, and he didn't want them to fight this man. So when he left his body, they were all quite happy. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur saw that some commotion was going on, and he asked what happened. And they said, oh, that man, that one who's always, hurling insults at you, he left his body. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur said, oh, today is a very horrible, sad day. Now who will protect me? Who will tell me the truth? Everyone around me is glorifying me, but he was my friend. He was the only one who was telling me the truth.
What humility.
But this is also a sign of great madness. That humility of love of God will make you mad. He's seeing that as his dearest friend, and everyone around Saraswati Thakur is seeing him as the highest being, the highest personality descended on earth. And they're thinking, how is it that he can take this? But it's just dust on him. It's nothing, because he's mad with love and humility.
It reminds me of the katha we heard yesterday about Durvasa.
Right.
Not dirt, but told Krishna to basically smear his half-eaten
with sweet rice.
Durvasa's half-eaten sweet rice all over his own body. And then he had Rukmini pulling the chariot and Krishna driving the chariot. And it was all of the Dwarkavasis who were so upset at Durvasa that Durvasa had to run. But Krishna was like, no, come back. Krishna accepted that whatever Durvasa is doing is for the benefit of all. And then Durvasa gave Krishna that benediction. Of course, Krishna doesn't need a benediction, and yet he has these sweet relationships with his devotees.
But at the same time, his disciples, Śrīla Saraswati Thakur's disciples, were in the right to feel that way.
And he was also following proper Vaishnava protocol.
Yes, he was showing proper Vaishnava Sadachar, but so were they, as Gurudev. You I think quoted that yesterday, that Gurudev said, if they were saying this about my Gurudev, I would beat them.
Right, but about myself, then I accepted.
So beautiful reconciliation.
So, it's very difficult to accept. When I was on Parikrama the last Ekadashi, or the one before, about 3/4 the way around. You know, here in Vrindavan, people don't really care where they spit. And there was a lady who was walking, and she just went like that and spit on my foot. And I was like, hey, like that, just naturally, like, why are you spitting here? And so it's natural to get upset like that. But for someone who is completely absorbed, they wouldn't notice what is going on around them. People are laughing at them or mocking them or joking about them. Even Shukadeva Goswami, how was he from the moment of his birth? 16 years old, basically he manifested and walked away from home. And he was so absorbed at that time, according to the past time, in Brahmagyan, that although his own father Vyasadeva called for him, oh my son, he didn't even hear it. Only the trees echoed in response. And that was his depth of absorption. He only recognized Vyasadeva not as his father, but as his guru when he heard Ved Vyas speaking Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the beautiful and sweet pastimes of Krishna. So they're aware to that, but unaware of the material ongoings. In fact, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated quite clearly that the pure devotee does not exactly see the material world and the workings of the material energy. Rather, they see their Ishtadev. It means their own Lord, present in everything. So, Tang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. I see my Gurudev, or in this case, the Supreme Lord, present in everything, in the hearts of every living entity. So, and it was just interesting to see this. The materialists will proclaim me to be a madman and throw dust upon my body. So they will cause some abuse, but anyhow, it won't matter if we're deeply, deeply absorbed in service to Krishna. Now we will call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Thakura Vaishnava Pada Avanira Susampada, page 38. Thakura Vaishnava Pada Avanira Susampada Thakura Vaishnava Pada I know I've told this before, probably many times, but because Gurudev ordered us on multiple occasions to use the words inspire on my behalf, we really had to meditate on what that meant. Because Gurudev would always say to all of us that if you don't have something, you can't give something. So when he orders to inspire on his behalf, that means that we must feel inspired to be able to share that inspiration. I don't know how many times I have sat in, let's say, a Bhagavatam class, maybe you've also done this, where the person who's speaking is practically asleep. I mean, when I was in Vrindavan Gurukul, probably around 9 or 10 years old, the Guru Sannyasi GDC, who was going to give the class, was in the process of leading Jaya Radha Madhava, playing the big kartals, and actually fell asleep on the asan while leading Jaya Radha Madhava. Needless to say, all of us very cold little Gurukul boys threw our chadars over our heads, went into turtle position and fell asleep. And a brahmachari ran to his room, got a sleeping bag, and fell asleep also in the temple. And all of us were late for school until a teacher came in, one Swami, and he's like, "What the is going on here?" And everyone woke up. He's like, "Everyone's late for class." And then everyone got into shape. But we were sitting there in front of so many people who were so inspired that they had zero energy related to the subject they were speaking. We're like, you know what I mean. So Gurudev ordered that we should inspire on his behalf, and we meditated and prayed, what does this mean? And of course, he told us at one point, "I want you to breathe life into Los Angeles." I'm like, breathe life? How do you breathe life? You have to have life. So then we understood that it didn't matter in essence what it was related to bhakti, but that we had to somehow connect to it. We had to have passion for it. We had to have inspiration in that if we are going to share anything. Otherwise, we cannot follow Gurudev's order. And so, for example, like for Sudevi, right now, she is sewing a new outfit for Thakurji. And this one, she just finished today. Now, for hundreds, if not thousands of people, just that, just even sharing how to do such a thing, let's do this together, can be so inspirational. It might be cooking for Thakurji, or how to clean for Thakurji, or how to dress Thakurji, or how to do kirtan, or classes, or whatever it is. It's different for every individual, and definitely prasadam. But what is it that can somehow catch me and pull me forward? And then other things related to bhakti will also start to become more attractive. So here, I told all of that relating to a certain point here. Because there was something that Srila Gurudev said once, which woke me up from my tendency to sleep even during his classes. We were in Paderborn, Germany. It was this big kind of cold kind of place. And big hall with so many devotees, and Gurudev was there. And during the classes, I was kind of a little tired. And Srila Gurudev said something that woke me up and made me a little bit excited. And so I want to share that with you, because if it can wake me up from sleep and make me excited, then that is my inspiration. So means what inspired me, then I want to share it with you. So he said, there is something that is so powerful that even if you have lost your inspiration or your inclination on the path of bhakti, it can reverse that. And I was like, ooh, he's talking to me. Sleep was affecting me. I was lazy. And he said something to me. He spoke to me. in a way that, yes, okay, this is practically touching me here and now. I'm not feeling enthusiasm, I'm feeling dull, I'm feeling no inclination. What can reverse that? And then he said, 3 things are very powerful. Bhakta pada dhuli, ar bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesh, etin mahabal. And here, in this prayer, it is saying the same thing. Vaishnava charana jal, prema bhakti ditebal. Vaishnava charana renu, mashtake bhushana vinu. These 3 substances. If anyone knows what Bhakta Pada Dhuli means, the first person to tell gets a full kilo of rasamalai from Brijbasi Mithaiwala. Then, if anyone knows what Bhakta Pada Jal means, they will get, oh my God, 10 burpees. And if anyone knows, oh, Sudevi, oh my God, you're not allowed to steal all of it yourself.
Why can't I get the mercy?
I can't believe she's doing that. She's supposed to be sewing for Thakurji. Apparently my story was inspirational for her as well. And if anyone knows what Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh means besides Sudevi, then they will receive extreme mercy. It is extremely powerful. They understand what that is. Then, when we meet you next, we will give you some Mahaprasad from Srila Gurudev and Srila Parvati Mahārāja. Oh, he said, that's not fair, we have a time lag. And Sudevi doesn't. Usually she doesn't hear me, so...
That's not true.
Actually, it's the other way around. That's the honest truth. Usually I don't hear her. So, there we go. Come on, what's Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh? Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Nice. Whatever Sudevi said. Very good. What is Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh? So these 3 substances are extremely powerful. If we can somehow or other receive them, we should take advantage of their power and their potency. They are capable of awakening prema bhakti in our heart. Vaishnava Charana Jal, the water which has washed the feet of the pure devotee, can give prema bhakti. Vaishnava Charana Renu. Very nice. Hari Priyadasi, Jai Mahaprasad, the Mahaprasad of Guru and Vaishnavas. That is the 3rd thing which is mentioned by Mahaprabhu. Extremely powerful substance. That is so powerful that Krishna himself seeks the foot dust of his pure devotees. He seeks the foot water of his pure devotees. And he seeks the Mahaprasad of his pure devotees. How does he seek the foot dust? We've all heard the history of Tilak. Krishna is greedy for the foot dust of his pure devotees, his Brajbasis. He carries the shoes of Nanda Baba upon his head. He's begging Srimati Radhika, please be merciful to me and give the dust of your lotus feet. Place your lotus feet upon my head. Anyone besides Sudevi who knows that verse in Sanskrit, just give the first 2 words even. When Krishna is praying to Srimati Radhika, please place your lotus feet upon my head. You will get... What will they get, Sudevi?
They will get pizza.
She said pizza. Ooh.
All right, tell Prabhu's there. You have to tell it.
And then we know, when Sudama arrived to see Krishna, what's the first thing Krishna did? He sat Sudama on his own bed and washed his feet, and then took that Charanamrita himself and gave it to Rukmini.
He sprinkled it on his head.
He sprinkled that charanamrit of Sudama, his own devotee, on his own head. And then Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh. Even Krishna is greedy to take the remnants of his devotees.
Ramananda got it.
Ooh, Ramananda. Very, very good. Smara, no. Is it Smarala or Smara?
He said Dehi Padapalava.
Very good. Smaragarala Kandanam Mamashirashimandanam Dehi Padapalabam Daram. Very good. Ramananda ki jai. So,
You have to tell Rattanwa.
we saw that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greedy to take what Raghunath Das Goswami was taking. He wanted that. What even the cows wouldn't eat, Raghunath Das Goswami was taking that, and Mahaprabhu wanted the remnants of that. Krishna is also greedy to take the remnants of his pure devotees. I don't know anyone but my devotees. They don't know anyone but me. I'm not at all independent from my devotee. What does he say? Mama Vaishnava Paran. My devotees are my own heart, my life, and my soul. Krishna is even greedy for these substances. What to speak of the benefit that we can attain by taking advantage of these extremely powerful substances. Raktambar Prabhu, now that we see your name here, we just wanted to let you know that today Thakurji has accepted your seva, your and your family's seva. So later on you will have a close-up darshan of their beautiful shringar. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam. So now,
You should tell them that it's the outfit.
oh, accepting your seva means the beautiful shringar, the outfit that they are wearing today. And thank you all very much for your lovely participation. Oh look, she wrote the word lovely at the same time I said it. So, yes, we should be motivated to want to dive deep into these teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Srila Gurudev would be very pleased if we are able to at least have a broad conceptualization of the concepts which he has given us in such a way that if he asks any question, we'll somehow be able to reference it in our own words. He would always say, in your own words, what does it mean? He didn't want us to just tell a translation from memory. It's easy to tell a translation from memory, but you can also lose the inspiration by just telling it in memory. It's just mindless parrot rambling. But if somehow we can connect to anything that we are doing on the path of bhakti and add intention behind it, then it becomes ours. And the more that we focus and absorb ourselves in these subject matters, I would say, first it becomes like it's yours, as something that you have. But then it becomes part of you. And then it becomes like, we could say almost non-different. You know, when they say something is like the back of your hand, if you absorb yourself enough in these subject matters, then you won't need to think about it. Like, what was that? What was that? Scratching your head. In the same way that most people don't need to think about what they just saw on the news or the latest television show or movie they saw. They'll just rattle it off. This happened, that happened, this happened, and it becomes part of them. If you absorb yourself in Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Krishna, all of the teachings of our Guru Varga, and continuously absorb yourselves, it can also become second nature. And then, gradually, you will come to realize that that is the eternal function of all of Krishna's dear and transcendental associates. What are they always doing? They're constantly gossiping about Krishna's beautiful form, his names, his qualities, and his pastimes. It is never ending. Harikatha. This is what they're all doing. And therefore, it is said, Dharma svanushkita pumsam vishvakshenakatasya notpadya jaridatim shravaneva hi kevalam. Until or unless one develops attraction, rati, for the katha, the glories of Krishna's form, his beauty, his pastimes, his names, his qualities, his activities, then everything that we're doing is considered like hard, useless labor. So our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, but especially our Gurudev, he was really endeavoring to impress within us, somehow, by speaking about the sweet pastimes of Krishna, he wanted to awaken within us an attraction, rati, for those pastimes, and then agreed to serve those transcendental pastimes. So Gurudev was definitely endeavoring to inspire and awaken greed within our hearts. And for that, we can never repay him. Janardhan Prabhu, Krishna accepted your flute forever. And periodically, he does utilize your flute. So he's got a few different flutes. He has a Venu, he has a Vangshi, he has a Priyasaki, he has a...
He has
two wooden ones?
No, well, he has... The other one is too small.
Okay.
He's got the one
So he's using now one bamboo flute, and then he uses also the silver flute that you have offered him. Yes. Wherever your energy is, that is where your attachment develops. That is true. Whatever one is contemplating. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishaya Pumsam. If you're contemplating material things, then attachment for material things develops. And if you're contemplating spiritual things, then your attachment for spiritual things develops. In fact, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja told that exact thing to Achyutananda Swami at the time, that if you vibrate mundane sound, you will get material results. If you vibrate Vaikuntha sounds, you will get Vaikuntha results. It doesn't necessarily mean Nārāyaṇa in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the land without fear, beyond the mundane dualities. So, within greater Vaikuntha, of course, is Golok Vrindavan, and within that is Gokul, or our transcendental Vrindavan, where the sweet pastimes of Krishna with Srimati Radhika are always going on. Now we will call for the mercy of Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhu. Page 47, Yam Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata. Did I sing that the last time, Sudevi?
I think you did.
Really?
Or maybe it was...
No, I sang Shriyachi Sadhumuke last time. Yam Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata. Yam Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata. Yam Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata. Yam Kalirupa Gosvāmī Pāda Ki Jai. Now we will call for the mercy of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, page 61. Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचीनंदन गौर हरि की जय। Sakhe Kalaya Gauramudaram. It's in the Sanskrit section. Page 340. Sakhe Kalaya Gauramudaram. Hare Krishna. Yes, 340 Sakhe Kalaya Gauramudaram. Sakhe Kalaya Gauramudaram. Sakhe Kalaya Gauramudaram. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Madhava Bahutaminati Karitoy. I don't know why that one came. 144. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved the bhajans of Sri Vidyapati. This one is by Vidyapati Madhava Bahutaminati Karitoy. Page 144. What?
Chandidas also.
And also Chandidas. But this one's by Vidyapati. Madhava He Bahu Taminati Kariko Madhava He Bahu Taminati Kariko Madhavo He Bahu Taminati Kariko Madhavo He Bahutaminati Kariko Tulasi Tino Deha Samartino Tulasi Tino Deha Jani na choro bimo goya jani na choro bimo Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, page 341 in our songbook. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite. Gokulapāruni Mandalamohite, Gokulapāruni Mandalamohite, Gokulapāruni Mandalamohite, Gokulapāruni Mandalamohite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Damodarāṣṭakam Vardhanaveshe, Damodarāṣṭakam Vardhanaveshe, Damodarāṣṭakam Vardhanaveshe, Damodarāṣṭakam Vardhanaveshe, Hari Vishnuta Vrindavintineshe, Hari Vishnuta Vrindavintineshe, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Gaite, Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Gaite, Vrishabhanudadhi Navashashilekhe, Vrishabhanudadhi Navashashilekhe, Vrishabhanudadhi Radhika Thakurani ki jai, Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Now, we'll sing Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Whoever knows that page number, you've been listening. Go get a birthday. You have to wait for the delay, Sudevi. Shri Dāmodara ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. Radharman Ju ki jai. Shalagram Shila ki jai. Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai. Laddu Gopal ki jai. Chota Chota Laddu Gopal ki jai. Jai, no delay. I'm just impressed that Sudevi is able to be sewing for Thakurji at the same time watching what's going on and typing. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, of feminine qualities, I am fame, fortune, speech, and memory. Apparently she's able to multitask. Namami Shwaram Sachit Anandarupam Tasat Kundanam Braj Mandal drishti krishyati dinam batanu vihane shammamadhyam vidyakshidesha kuberakmajo bandha mutyaiva yadva Vayamochito bhakti bhajo krito cha Tatha prema bhakti sadam nikraya cha Namokshe graho nesti Damodaraya Namaste sudamne spuragirti amne Diodarayatha Vishwasya Dhamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Nantarinayo Devaya Tutyam Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Nantarinayo Devaya Tutyam Radha Damodara 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 Jai Radha Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shri Shri Dai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Rupan Gauri Guruvarga ki Jai, Pradip Pavan Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki Jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ji ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai, Gaur Bhaktivedānta ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namah Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swāmine Namine Vanchākalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitānaṁ Pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vācālam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shakti Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shakti Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga. And to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. Wax? Oh, it says no wax.
We have these prefabricated ghee wicks, and on the box it says on it, no wax.
100%.
100% ghee, absolutely no wax. And guaranteed it has a large percentage of wax in it. But anyhow, you can get away with that here. So, Jai. With a smile on your face, you can present something that says no wax, and it has wax in it.
It smells like wax in here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now, what is the time? 7:11.
140%.
140% pure ghee means wax. Jai.
Jai.
So today, we will continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. This, as you all know, is a beautiful treasure of divine Harikatha, manifested from the heart of Satyavrata Muni, commented on by Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī. It's placed in Padma Purana by Ved Vyas, commented on by Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, then translated and commented on by our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and then commented on furthermore by our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj. Deeper and deeper and deeper levels of revelation. So this transcendental literature is full of so many gems. It is a treasure. And so first of all, we will pray to the lotus feet of those personalities who have manifested it for us. In the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Why am I saying they've manifested it for us? Because it's already in their heart. They don't need to give it. But out of causeless mercy, they are providing it for us so that we can develop attraction to the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Vairāga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnai Apayanan Mam Anubhipshamandam Kripam Vidyapara Duku Duki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. And although theoretically, technically, we finished verse 4, somehow I missed the footnote by our Param Gurudev, and it's a pretty big one. So he has presented so many verses from Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.5 pages. That can take us a week. I don't think it will, but it could. So, if we don't read what the commentators are giving us, then we can actually miss so much. They're placing it there for a reason. So, although technically we have finished that verse, actually we did not, because we did not accept it fully from the transcendental vision of this particular pure devotee, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, who's actually referencing Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is manifested from the heart of Sanatana Goswami. So, not only will we not, let me say, if I'm going to say this right, if we don't read it, we won't gain as much. And so it is imperative that we read it because they wanted us to receive it and to understand it. So I will continue with this verse for today. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha idam teva puranatho gopalabalam sada me manasyami rashtam kimanyai Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So, from page 81, our Param Gurudev put a footnote So what was that related to? It was annotation 3. In Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita's Uttarakanda, we find the statements of Sri Pipalayana Rishi. Therein he extensively discusses the glories of beholding Sri Bhagavan within the heart, Antar Darshan. So that's what it's about. Sri Pipalayana Uvacha Idam Mahat Padam Hitva Katam Anyat Yayasashi Katam Va Brahmasi Drashtum Drigbhyam Tam Parameshwaram. The son of Rishabdev, Sri Pipalayan Rishi, said to Gopkumar, why do you want to leave Tapoloka and go elsewhere? Tapoloka is the planet or the lok, the area in the universe where so many personalities are doing intense austerity, or where they have done austerity to attain that realm. Why would you want to leave here and go elsewhere? The best of exalted yogis, the unadulterated celibates, reside here. And why are you wandering to various places trying to see the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is beyond the grasp of the eyes and other senses with your eyes? So Vipalayan Rishi is questioning Gopkumar, why do you want to see him with your eyes if he's beyond the realm of your senses and your eyes? And why would you want to go anywhere else? We're in Tapaloka, where the best of the yogis come to. Samadhatva manasviyam tato drakshyasi tam svata sarvatra bahir antascha sada sakshad ivastitam. Fix your mind within meditation, samadhi, and you will naturally see Bhagavan. Although Swayam Bhagavan, the original Supreme Lord, resides everywhere, within and without, by the potency of samadhi, you will always see him as if he is directly present before you. Paramatma Vasudeva Satchidananda Vigraha Nitantam Shodite Chite Spurat Yesha Nachanyata. Vasudeva is Paramatma, the super soul, the presiding deity of the heart. He only reveals himself in a heart that has been completely purified by Vishuddha Sattva and nowhere else. In other words, because he is Satchidananda Vigraha, the embodiment of pure existence, cognizance, and bliss, he does not manifest before the eyes and other senses. In other words, it's not possible to comprehend him with the external senses because he manifests of his own accord and is unlimited. So now, I have a question for you. What is the name of the Lord? Which means he's beyond the ability of the senses to capture. Beyond the ability of the senses to capture or to comprehend. Beyond the realm of the senses. Anyone who gets this right, besides Sudevi, Sudevi, you can play this one too. What is the name of Bhagavan, which means he is beyond the realm of the senses? The one I was looking for was what Jiva Pavana Prabhu posted. Adhokshaja. Very good, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Oh, Sudevi knew it too.
But I wrote it wrong.
Well, he did too, so there you go. You got the J and he got the Y. He got the Adhok. Oh. But Ravananda wrote Rishikesh. Rishikesh means master of the senses. Rishika, Isha. And Achyuta. What does Achyuta mean? I can't remember at the moment. But Adhokshaja is the proper name for he is beyond the realm of the senses. So Pipalayan Rishi is telling him he's beyond the realm of the senses, so why do you want to see him with your senses, with your eyes? Sri Gopkumar could argue, perceiving Sri Bhagavan in the heart is only meditation. it can't be considered the same thing as taking darshan of him with one's eyes. To see him with my eyes, I must leave this tapolok and go elsewhere. So Gop Kumar, it's interesting how they discuss the discussions of these great personalities. He could argue this. In response, then, he would say this. If you see the revelations of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he also speaks like this. He's telling what Bhishma Dev is thinking, what Krishna is thinking, what's going on behind everything, what he could say and why he said this. All of the different angles of vision, they're revealing that to us. This is proof that the pure devotee who is in touch with Sat, or the absolute truth, constantly, is considered Trikalagya. They know all three phases of time, past, present, and future. And they have access not only to what happened, or what will happen, or what is happening, but even to the thoughts. It's a little bit frightening to think of that, but Srila Gurudev proved it to me personally. Once upon a time, many, many years ago, it was actually 1996 or 97.
96.
After Kartik,
Yeah.
I went to Malaysia to sell oil paintings, and I sent Sudevi back to America. We had just gotten married by Gurudev, and then right after that, Kartik, she went back to America. I went to Malaysia to make some money under the guidance of Kishori Prabhu and Urukram Prabhu, who later became Bhaktivedānta Padmanabha Mahārāja. So that time, we were selling oil paintings. And then Gurudev came to Malaysia. So it was the first opportunity I received to massage him. Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja and Gurudev were told by my father that he's good at massage. I trained him. And my father did train me from the time I was like 3 or something.
Still going.
So they finally allowed me to give Gurudev massage. And I was pretty comfortable with the idea. So as I was massaging Srila Gurudev, I think Pundarik Prabhu was on the other side and he was massaging Gurudev. Gurudev was lying there chanting all of the ashtakams in a flow, in a sequence. Guru Ashtakam, Shad Gosvāmī Ashtakam, then Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, like this, Namami Nandanandanam, Radha, Kripa Katakshastava. One after another, I remember specifically him saying Devim Gunai, under his breath, Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami, like that. And I was speaking with Pundarik Prabhu, talking about I don't know what. And it couldn't have been very devotional. Because as I was speaking to him, at a certain point, Gurudev opened his eyes and he said, "Can you ever be quiet?" And I was like, and I just zipped my mouth. And I was just there. And we continued massaging. And Gurudev closed his eyes and kept taking his massage. After a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because my mouth was closed, but my mind was still wild, uncontrolled. As I was massaging Srila Gurudev, suddenly I began missing my wife. Here I was physically massaging Gurudev, but my mind was all the way in America. I was missing my wife. And that moment, Gurudev opened his eyes and he said to me, "Your wife is calling?" And I said, He said, "Your wife is calling?" I said, "What do you mean?" He rolled his eyes and he said, "Just now she came in your mind." And I just put my head down. I thought he couldn't see, but he could. And I said, "Yes, Gurudev." And he just went like that. And then he continued chanting his ashtakams. At that moment, I was thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. How do I quiet my mind? How do I stop that? I could zip my mouth, but how do you zip your mind? And And then I thought, just do what Gurudev's doing. So, Hare Krishna. So it quieted my mind down a lot. I was chanting Mahamantra inside or under my breath. Gurudev never complained about my massages too much after that. But the point is that he could see my mind. Let me just finish this story. So the end of the massage came, and somehow, by massaging Gurudev's head, I got his Sika kind of caught in a knot. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, this was the first time I gave him a massage. And afterward, Gurudev was like, it's not coming out. And then Madhav Maharaj came with a comb. It was still that time Naveen Krishna Brahmachari. And he was trying to comb Gurudev's Sika and was kind of pulling Gurudev like this. And I could tell I was sitting there kind of like, it's not coming out. And at a certain point, Gurudev just said, what happened? And I said, I don't know, Gurudev, it just happened. Your Sika got in knots. And then Gurudev frowned like this and he looked at me and he said, it didn't just happen. You did this. And I just said, I'm sorry. But at that moment, he taught a very valuable lesson. That we should take responsibility for what we've done. Don't just blame it, oh, this was the will of Bhagavan, otherwise it wouldn't have. No, you did this. Take responsibility for it. Don't try to pass it off as something else. And so Gurudev taught a very valuable lesson at that point. Of course, I was very hesitant to massage his head from that time onward, but he said, it didn't just happen. You did this. And I think that's not just a lesson for me. I think it's a lesson for all. That when we do something and there's a reaction for it, we should take responsibility for that. Yes, I have done this thing. Otherwise, we can blame Vaishnava Aparad on it just happened. Then why should I get the negative result of that?
I was just thinking, you know, that when Gurudev, it also means taking responsibility. Gurudev said that I'm responsible for Thakurji, even when I am gone from this body. Right. He said, you are still responsible. And then when I had to bring so many things to the evening program, and Gurudev was coming and he was doing arti to Radha Vinod Bihariji every night. And so I was bringing so many things, including them. Mm-hmm. And so I asked Tungavidya Didi, please bring the arti tray. She did, but she didn't bring the peacock fan. And because they're my Thakurji, because it's my duty, I was supposed to bring them the paraphernalia, but I gave it to someone else who didn't have the same mamata for them, maybe. Mm. And so when Gurudev
he was doing an arti at the program after the public program. At the Vishnu Mandir. In Lotoka, yeah.
Yes. And then he was looking for the fan, and he looked back at me and was like, where is it? And I wanted to point at Tungavidya Didi, but obviously you can't at that point. So then when the next morning came, Kishori Mohan Prabhu was in the kitchen, and Gurudev walked in there. And Gurudev said, last night, where was the fan?
He just said...
And then he said, your wife, she forgot the fan, why?
Right. He said, your wife?
He didn't even call me my name.
He just said, your wife? And he said, where was the fan? The peacock fan. And I said, I don't know. I guess she forgot it. And then Gurudev said, does she forget to eat?
Which means that was my responsibility. Even though I tried to delegate it, I tried to make sure it would happen, but it's my seva, my responsibility. So like Gurudev said, even when you are gone from this body, you are responsible for Thakurji. That means that if I don't give them to somebody who has mamata for that seva and who will care for them properly, then I will incur some kind of responsible negativity because I haven't made sure. So it's very important that we take responsibility. I was just thinking of that it's not just it just happened or she just didn't bring it. it was my responsibility. I should have been attentive, savdhan. I should be very careful and attentive to my seva.
Srila Gurudev speaks about this, Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. They speak about something called responsible seva.
Yes.
Responsible seva means if something is my duty, and this is my order from above, then I should be responsible for it and to do the very best that I can do and always endeavor to improve in the quality of that service. If I just kind of don't take it seriously, throw it away, or don't actually follow, then I'm not being responsible with that. So Gurudev also really wanted to teach us responsibility. And not only that, with that responsibility also comes honesty. Honesty. And that's part of taking responsibility for something. For some reason, because we were just speaking about that, I'm thinking about another thing as well. So when we were in that Vishnu Mandir, Gurudev was giving classes. As you know, when they set up microphones, they don't always do it so well. So they set up the microphone system, the sound system, and as you know, I am a studio recorder kind of person. I'm able to engineer and record, and I know how to work with microphones and all of these kinds of things and make CDs and whatever. So I was quite familiar with it. I was quite confident with it, maybe even a little proud about it.
Maybe.
And as Gurudev was speaking, the microphone kept feeding back. So he was speaking, and then the microphone started doing that. Everyone started having to close their ears. And it happened 3 or 4 times. Finally, no one had done anything about it. So finally, I thought, let me do something about it. So I went, I saw which one it was plugged into, and I just turned the volume knob down 1 notch, from 6 down to 5. And it had a short in it. Little did I know, but it cut the sound. And whatever was disturbing Gurudev before, this was much more disturbing. And then the sound man had to come, and he had to wiggle it until it worked. And then I went back to sit down in front of Gurudev, quite embarrassed. Anyway, he got it working again, and Gurudev was able to speak. And everyone was able to hear him. And then it started doing it again. And I kind of was looking back, and he's like, no, not you. And I wanted to do something with the fan, because the fan was blowing really hard right on him. It was too much. And he was like, no, don't touch it. He said it to me. And the next day, we were in Jagannath Prabhu's house, Jagannath Punja. And I guess they had the air conditioning on, or they needed it on in Gurudev's room. And I was like, oh, that's easy. No, he said, not you. Don't touch it. He said, what will happen if you break it? What will they do without it? And I was like, oh man, Gurudev was just hammering my ego, because I was confident about everything I was able to do. And generally, it's normal, easy, and fine. And Gurudev just let me have it, one after another, after another, after another. He didn't want us to maybe take what was the duty or responsibility of another either. There was the responsibility of the sound man. He should have taken care of it. I jumped up and I actually created more difficulty. In another instance, I was in New Braj, Badger, California, and I was a little bit kind of famous for making pineapple upside down cake. And Śrī Didi, the wife of Nirguna Prabhu, requested me every year that, can you make your pineapple upside down cake one of the days? So I had eight massive trays of this pineapple upside down cake in the oven baking. And it was taking quite a long time to bake because it was just so big. And Gurudev had come out already at 5:15 for the bhajans, finishing the bhajans, and then he was going to speak. At that time, Srila Gurudev said into the microphone, "Where's Kishori Mohan?" And I came out from behind the bamboo curtain, and I'm like, "I'm here, Gurudev. I'm in the kitchen." And I had my green apron on, and I was very proud of this fact. I'm making this pineapple upside down cake. for all the devotees. And everyone's gonna love it. And Srila Gurudev said, your seva is to always be here in Kirtan. Others can do that seva. Your seva is to always be here in Kirtan. I took off the apron. I gave it to any devotee who was there. I said, check the cake in a half an hour. And I went and sat down in front of him. Gurudev was teaching responsible seva. This is your seva. Anyone else can do that. You always should be here for Kirtan. And it was quite a strong instruction. And so, even one time I was on my way to Kirtan and I just looked inside the kitchen once in Navadvip. And who was it? Premananda Prabhu. He says, what are you doing? Why don't you do some seva? Come here and do this. And I said, I am doing my seva. And I pranamad and I continued on to where the Kirtan was to begin the Kirtan. So, we cannot say that one person's seva is not seva and another person's seva is seva. Everyone has their sevas. Whatever Sri Guru instructs, it is the duty of the disciple to be responsible and follow that service in this connection. Srila Gurudev had ordered us or desired for us to go to Los Angeles and to, in his words, breathe life into Los Angeles. And we had a couple conditions because there were some interesting goings on in Los Angeles at the time. So we addressed Srila Gurudev with these concerns. And then Gurudev actually made some ultimatums. That if they don't take care of this, and this, then don't go. Srila Gurudev was quite clear about it. And so after some time, we were a little bit concerned, especially myself. Oh, I didn't follow Gurudev's order immediately. We brought up some other concern. So when we were at the festival in Italy, I think it was Venice, yes. We went to see Srila Gurudev, and I told him, I said, Gurudev, I'm so concerned that because I did not follow your order immediately to go there, that maybe...
Others told you. Others told you you weren't a good disciple.
Yeah, other devotees were saying, you know that he wants you to do that. You should understand his heart's desire. You just want to do what you want to do. You're being independent. And it's like, no, Gurudev told us not to go. A few times, actually, unless everything was set up the way that Gurudev wanted it. And so I told Gurudev, I'm concerned maybe I've made aparad. And Gurudev's like, no aparad is there. I said, but we didn't follow your order immediately. We had some concerns and this and that. We didn't do it immediately. He said, I already told you there's no aparad. And I tried to question a third time. He said, I already told you there's no aparad, but if you don't believe me, maybe this will be aparad. I zipped my mouth immediately. I was like, okay. And then he made some other very heavy statements. Because those devotees were also not following his instructions. He said, I will take everyone and everything from there.
And they can be the monarch.
And whoever's there who thinks they're in charge of everything, they can be, he said, I will take everyone and everything and they can be the monarch of nothing. Gurudev said. Because they're not following the instruction of Gurudev. So it is essential that we should always be under the guidance of Sri Guru and not be independent-minded. Gurudev, he told that one devotee, he said, give me that flower. They were holding a flower. And he just started moving it like this. And he said, I want that you should be like this. Your heart should be like this. That I can move you or place you wherever I like. However I like. And so for us, it was something like that. Gurudev said, go. And then the next moment he said, don't go. Go, don't go. Like this. And we had to become attached to whatever his desire was and let him place us as his chess pieces in essence. Now go there. No, don't go there. Come back. Be here. Do this. No, don't do that. And it was an interesting experience to be placed by Gurudev as he liked. And then adjust it again. It was an interesting experience to be able to practice that practically, that Gurudev is ordering us to do something and then telling us not to do it. because I was becoming so attached to that idea and not attached to the current seva that I had, because Gurudev had ordered a different seva. And then when he said, no, I want you to do this, then I lost attachment for that one and developed attachment for the current one. Anyhow, one of these stories of Gurudev led to another, to another, to another, and we have come off of track of what we were reading, but anyhow, we're still also remembering Srila Gurudev, his pastimes, his lessons to us, and sharing those things. Gurudev was expressing some kind of I would say happiness or acceptance of our seva at one point. And he was looking at us quite quizzically, like, why, how is it that it's so successful? And Sudevi said to Gurudev, Gurudev, we don't know anything. All we do is talk about you. And he said, oh, that's why. And then he said to other devotees and to us, whatever you're doing already, continue doing that. And he told other devotees, ask them what they're doing. And, and I said, we just talk about Gurudev. Gurudev liked it. We said, this is what we're doing, we're talking about you. And he said, oh, that's why. So that's why we have a natural inclination to continue speaking about him, because he acknowledged that that was why he was, I would say, he was pleased with our seva. So at one point, I have to share this because it was just really funny. We would never take any money from Gurudev. We would just connect to all the devotees around the world for donations toward our traveling and our service to Gurudev. And the devotees would send in a little bit, and all together we were able to purchase our tickets. And then at the end of the year, when we would see Gurudev, or any time, then we would give him a donation from whatever excess was collected. So one time we were in Barshana. This was at Modi Bhavan, Barshana, in the Pandal. And Gurudev said about our team, it was Vishaka, Sudevi, and myself, he said, they are like good cows. He said, they give so much milk, but they don't take any grass. And then he looked at some of the persons on the stage, and he said, others are like elephants. They take so much grass, but they give no milk. And we just thought that was really sweet, but it was also quite funny. So we always endeavored to be like that for Gurudev, where we wouldn't take anything monetarily from him personally, but we would always try to give him a donation because he was pleased with that. So now back to our subject at hand. So we were speaking about responsible seva. Responsible seva. Another one. So related to what I just told, they don't take anything from me, but they give so much milk. This is also part of seva, not to create any disturbance to Gurudev. And it's also a practice. We practice that with Gurudev, but then we must also apply it naturally to Krishna. Even Mother Yashoda, she feels that she would gladly die 1,000 times than to cause any difficulty to Krishna. Even one drop of perspiration should not come to his head. The gopis also have this feeling. They don't want to cause any disturbance to Krishna. And so we were in South Africa. And in South Africa, there was a lot of opposition to Gurudev's preaching. And we went there ahead of Gurudev to kind of prepare and to invite people to come to him. And there was so much opposition from so many sides and so many intense difficulties. We actually have it would be an amazing book. I have all of it saved, even all of it would just be amazing. Anyway, it's quite intense as well. So we actually wrote a letter to Gurudev, or to Braj Mandal Prabhu, which was read to Gurudev, explaining all of the difficulties that we were enduring in our situation. All of the opposition, all of the problems.
Even from our own guru.
Even, from so many different perspectives, and even from our own group of devotees. There was a lot of difficulties that were going on. And we wrote Gurudev this letter that was quite telling. And Gurudev's response was, I'm so sorry that you have to endure all of these difficulties on my behalf. Because of me. And the way he responded, we felt disgusted with ourselves that we would bring any concern or worry to Gurudev about us. So we actually decided, any difficulty that comes, we won't bring that to Gurudev to create any difficulty for him, that he would feel this kind of, I'm sorry that you have to endure this because of me, like that. So whatever it was, we just, as they say in Australia, I think it is, drink wet cement. Toughen up. They would say, toughen up, drink wet cement. So we just had to grin and bear it. And it became worse and worse and worse and more difficult, actually. And it was so many difficulties. But after that, it was really our only main difficulty became that we felt that we were not able to serve Gurudev or please him enough. That we struggled so hard. We were going from one place to another temple, all of these different places, and begging people to come for Gurudev's program in Johannesburg. And it was a hall, the Gandhi Hall. It could fit 1,000 people, and maybe 150 or 200 came. And they didn't all sit together in one group. They sat in dispersed little groups. 2 people here, 3 people there, 1 person there. And 150 or 200 people in a 1,000-seater hall, sitting all away from each other, very, very socially distanced, it looked like no one had come. Sudevi, can you tell this part?
So it looked like no one had come. It was very sparse looking crowd. And we had tried so hard to really, I can't even express it. And I don't think we'll ever tell it because we don't want to name names, but it was so difficult. And I just started crying. Gurudev had finished just speaking 2 shlokas. And everybody was astonished by Gurudev, but I was so sad. I thought we worked so hard, day and night, just driving everywhere, begging people to let us do a program, giving them free CDs, free books, free literature about Gurudev. And then at the end, only a couple hundred came. So I went to the bathroom and I was just crying and crying. And then I came out, but you could tell I was crying. So Braj Mandal Prabhu saw me, and Gurudev was walking with him. So Gurudev said Brajanath said to Gurudev, oh look, Sudevi Didi's crying. So then Gurudev looked at me and he just said, what happened? And I said, Gurudev, we tried so hard and so few came, and I was just kind of shaking, crying. And Gurudev said, oh, if even one comes to hear, then I am happy. And then he smiled and he said, so I am happy. And then I realized that Gurudev was more concerned for the quality and I was concerned for the quantity. I wanted to fill the hall. I didn't care if it was dead bodies as long as the hall was packed. And Gurudev wanted one person who was eager to hear what he had come to give. And somebody there was, because he said he was happy. So it just shows, like even when we're chanting Maha Mantra, sometimes we think we have to get in the quantity. But Krishna's not attracted to how many times you can say his name. He's attracted to love and affection. So it's the quality, not the quantity. And I learned that very deeply from that one instance where Gurudev said, one person, even if one comes to hear what I want to give.
Thank you. So many of our acharyas have said the same thing. What is the use of so many stars? twinkling stars. One moon is sufficient, Srila Prabhupada said. All of our Guru Varga, if even one person, if even one is rescued out of millions and millions, then the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be successful. If even one jiva is rescued from this fortress of Maya. So Gurudev said in that case, so I am happy. Because if even one person is sincere and really wants to hear, then it is successful. So I am happy. Charudasi said, even with dead bodies. In the other locations, I can't remember all the city names now. Pietermaritzburg, it was packed.
And Durban.
And in Durban, we packed a hall with like 500 people. We had nice flyers for everyone to see. On every chair with Gurudev and a beautiful verse and talking about Gurudev. We had massive posters everywhere. There was a car driving around with a mobile poster. Massive posters on each side. All day driving around with speakers blaring, advertising Gurudev's programs. Then we had it on the radio coming every half an hour about Gurudev's programs. And we had gone out to like every possible Hindu temple, and we were
in the newspaper.
We were in the newspaper. There was ads in the newspapers. It was a full, massive production somehow to get people to come. And we were also going against so much opposition. We were doing it despite so much opposition from so many different places. And, it was massive. In Durban, Gurudev said that in all of his preaching, South Africa was the most successful. But it was like so much endeavor with the Durban and then Pietermaritzburg, and we did the same endeavor for Johannesburg, but almost no one showed up. And so it was quite intense. But anyhow, even if one person takes this message of Mahaprabhu who is sincere, then our Guru Varga considers it successful. So how can we please Gurudev and our Guru Varga? We ourselves can take it seriously. And whoever we meet, try to encourage them to take it seriously as well. Then they will feel that my mission is successful. So on that note, we will come back. Yes, he helped a lot. I can't remember what his name was before. Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja? What was his name before?
I don't remember. You know who helped was Dev in his family.
It was like sent by Krishna. There was someone named Dev.
But D-E-V.
D-E-V, Dev. And he just saw how we were endeavoring, and he just felt this inclination in his heart to help us. So he was inviting us to his place. He arranged for all the cooking facility, the gas, the stoves, the pots, collection
An
of...
old couple we didn't even know gave us a place to live.
An old couple that we had never met gave us a place to stay.
They brought us groceries.
Yeah, they were bringing groceries. It was like there was so much, you can say, that was mystical. But this Bhakti Gaura Goswami Maharaj, he helped so much. Actually, he was also quite instrumental in all of this. He was the one who was driving around all day with these loudspeakers and that massive billboard advertising Gurudev's programs, and he was giving us so many ideas and helping us and working with our team.
He always arrived at lunchtime.
He did always arrive at lunchtime.
Is Nandini there?
Nandini Arora is there, I don't know. So our team consisted of, let's see,
Damodar Maharaj,
there's Damodar Maharaj,
Nandini,
Sudevi, myself, of course,
Krishna
Prema, who's in Canada, the son of Gyanashakti Prabhu, Nandini, Neti Sharma,
and Savitri. That was it.
So that was the core team. And of
then
course...
Later was Chandrika and Shamarani Didi.
Right.
Oh, and Ashram Maharaj came later.
Ashram Maharaj came at a certain point.
He didn't.
And Charya Chandrika also came later, and Shamarani Didi. But we were there for 2 or 3 months.
3 months.
And it was quite concentrated. There was a Rohini Nandan Prabhu who is from South Africa. He was You know who was helping so much? Rohini Nandan Prabhu was helping so much, but there was someone named Subal. He always called me Mahatma, and I always called him Superball. Because whatever we needed, he would drive us around. He was arranging everything. He was just Mr. Seva. I don't know, with a smile on his face always.
He was incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And
just to see how
Mukunda, who was my
Mukunda McNeil Pillai, he was Sudevi's personal bodyguard, which he needed to be. He was worked for the government, so he was her bodyguard. And somehow, so many things miraculously came together. We cannot explain it any other way. We endeavored in this way, and miracles were coming from all sides, from everywhere else.
One day we'll tell everything.
One day we'll have to manifest the entire story with maybe some name changes, because people also change over time, and it's not nice to reflect on maybe the weaknesses of their past, especially if they've changed for the better, which we have noticed so many have. Hopefully we have as well. So anyhow, yes, it was an amazing, miraculous time. And would you do it again for Gurudev if you had to?
For Gurudev, yes, but otherwise never.
Did you hear that? For Gurudev, yes. Okay. So, back to, what is the time? Time is getting late. So we were talking about responsible seva. In fact, at the end of all of that, we asked Gurudev, where do you want us to go and do this next? And Gurudev was like, Fiji. And Gurudev wanted us to do it all as a team in Fiji. So it was quite interesting and beautiful experience being in the heat of that kind of seva. So we have just spoken about responsible service. So Gopkumar was arguing, or could argue back with Pipalayan Rishi, that perceiving Bhagavan in the heart is only meditation. It cannot be considered the same as taking darshan of him with one's eyes. We were thinking that too, but Gurudev said, following my order is directly my darshan. So, to see him with my eyes, I must leave this tapolok and go elsewhere. In response, Pipalayan Rishi says, Tadanim chamano vrityantara bhavat susidyati chetasakalu yat sakshach chakshusha darshanam hare. Furthermore, direct vision of Sri Hari with one's eyes is in fact also accomplished by the mind alone. When Sri Bhagavan reveals himself within someone's heart, their mind becomes completely absorbed in him and they can think of nothing else. Consequently, they feel that they are perceiving him directly with their eyes. That is called Bhav Netra. Bhav Netra means with the eyes of Bhav. Netra means eyes, and Bhav, the eyes of love and affection. To see with the eyes of love. In case someone argues, I agree with this, but it is more pleasurable to see Bhagavan with one's eyes, then Pipalayan Rishi makes the following assertion. Manasuke andar bhavati sarvendriya sukam svata tadvrish ishvapi bhak chakshu shrutyadindriya vrittaya. It's a difficult one to say. If joy arises in the mind, then it is not only the eyes that are pleased. Rather, all of the senses become pleased. This is because the happiness of all of the senses rests in the happiness of the mind. Moreover, the actions of speech, eyes, ears, and other senses rest in the actions of the mind. In other words, unless the mind grasps form, taste, and other sense objects, the senses will fail to independently experience them. So in modern science, they say it is the brain that is translating all of these sensory experiences, and from there, or the sense of feeling, it comes from inside. It is not the sense itself which is feeling, it is the experiencer that is feeling through the medium of those senses. So here is the same principle. It is actually the mind or the experiencer that is experiencing that. The senses on their own or independently are not actually the experiencer. It is the translation from within of what the senses connect to that is experiencing. Let me give an example. A camera can take a picture. But the camera itself, although it can take a picture and store a picture on its little hard drive or whatever it is that you put in there, SSD, it is not experiencing anything. It is in essence dead. But when we look at that picture, first we actually want to capture that image. It is my desire to capture that image. I am capturing it through this gadget or gizmo, which has no experience of its own. And upon seeing that picture, then I will derive the pleasure of seeing it. But the camera on its own is only the medium by which I am able to desire and then extract and experience and feel the pleasure. In the same way, the senses are the same. The senses on their own are not the experiencers. They are only the tool by which one can experience. So in this case, Pipalayan Rishi is telling Gopkumar that the actions of all of these senses rest in the actions of the mind. In other words, unless the mind grasps form, taste, and other sense objects, the senses will fail to independently experience them. Manovritim vina sarvendriyanam vritaya phala kritapiha kritaivasyar atmanyanu labdhita. Without the mind's activity, the functions of all of the senses are futile. Even if the senses do contact the respective objects of enjoyment, they have no effect. This is because the embodied soul cannot experience anything without the mind's involvement. Therefore, actual darshan of Sri Bhagavan occurs within the heart when its disposition is completely pure. Vishuddha chitta vritti vishesha. Direct darshan of him with the eyes is not real darshan because he is beyond the perception of the senses. It is a matter of the mood in the heart. Physical proximity is not the barometer either. It is a matter of the mood in the heart. Although this may be so, we hear that Sri Dhruva and Sri Prahlad have seen Sri Bhagavan with their eyes. What was that? In response, Sri Pipalayan Rishi gives the following explanation. Kadachit bhakta vatsalya yati ched drishyatam drisho jnana drishyaiva tajjatam abhimana param drisho. It is true that Sri Bhagavan possesses qualities such as bhakta vatsalya, affection for his devotees, and on occasion he may make himself visible to someone's external eyes. But such an incident is occasional and not a standard occurrence or rule. It is really their consciousness that enables this vision, not their physical eyes. This is because the senses, being limited, cannot perceive something unlimited. Well, that explains it. The limited cannot experience the unlimited. Seeing Sri Bhagavan with the eyes is of such repute because when the living entity sees Sri Bhagavan within the heart, which has become resplendent with Vishuddha Sattva, or supremely pure spiritual existence, he proudly assumes that he has seen Sri Bhagavan with his eyes. In reality, however, he has not. The material eyes cannot see Bhagavan. And it is actually explained that Gopkumar has already surpassed the material bodily realm. So his desire to see with his eyes and the ability to see Bhagavan with the eyes would be his spiritual eyes, which are his transcendental eyes already. So there's no conflict there. For us, we have these material eyes which cannot perceive the Lord. If we are able to perceive the Lord here, then it will appear that we are seeing him through our eyes because we are seeing him from the platform of the soul's eyes. So it will feel that we are seeing him through our eyes, which in essence we would be. As Bilvamangal Thakur was able to see Krishna, although he had plucked his eyes out with the hairpins of that beautiful wife of that person that he had followed back to her house, he said, please give me your hairpins. And he took them and said, damn these eyes, which are distracting me from my goal. Because he rejected that thing in such a harsh way and gave everything at that moment in complete surrender to Krishna. Krishna himself personally brought Bilvamangal to Vrindavan. Although he was physically blind, he was able to see everything because he had divine vision. He was able to see Krishna, the beauty of Krishna, this whole interaction. He was able to witness Vrindavan, all transcendental. And from that, he was able to manifest Sri Krishna Karnamrita. Actually, it was what he was telling Krishna, the prayers he was speaking on the way to Vrindavan. It is known as Sri Krishna Karnamrita, which is nectar to the ears of Krishna. So through his transcendental vision, he was able to behold Krishna. So he probably assumes that he has seen Bhagavan with his eyes. In reality, however, he has not. Tasya karunya shaktyava drishyotstavapi bahir drisho tatapi darshanananda swayono jayate hridi. Someone may say that, this is Pipalayan Rishi, by his mercy potency, Sri Bhagavan sometimes becomes visible to the living entity's external eyes. Since he possesses all potency, what is not possible for him? Although this may be so, the bliss of that darshan is found only in the heart or the mind. Even, of course, Bhagavan can manifest in front of someone's material eyes if he wants. What is the name of his potency? Not Sudevi. No, this Sudevi, not Sudevi Devi Dasi. Sudevi Dasi can answer this, or anyone else. Sorry. What is the name of that potency by which Krishna can make the impossible possible?
Not Devaki either.
Not Devaki either. And not Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Anyone else who knows it will get 10 pieces of saffrons. Oh, Sudevi said pineapple upside down cake made by yours truly when I'm not at the time of kirtan. So I'm not going to tell it. The power to make the impossible possible. What is the name of that Shakti? Not the one from Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, the other one. No. Technically, yeah, it all comes from her, but no. There's a particular special name for it. Wait, it wasn't supposed to be Devaki either. But she got it.
I told you.
Devaki is on the ball. Aghatana Ghatana Patiyasi Shakti. The power or the Shakti to be able to make the impossible possible. If Krishna wants, even though it's against the rules generally, he can break the rules, he can make the rules, he can bend the rules as he likes, he can do whatever he likes, because he is the supreme autocrat, as Srila Bhaktivedānta Sridhar Mahārāja would say. So, if he wants, he can manifest to your material eyeballs. But it's not the eyeballs that are doing the experiencing, it is still the heart. That is what Pipalayan Rishi is telling. Although this may be so, the bliss of that darshan is found only in the heart or in the mind. The bliss of that darshan is found internally. So still. Then, Annantaran chatatraiva vilasan paryavasyati mana eva mahapatram tatsuka grahanochitam. Okay, Devaki, you will get your pineapple upside down cake, for sure. Even after Sri Bhagavan disappears, the bliss of his darshan continues to play in one's heart, resulting in the experience of many further visions there. Although the eyes have seen the Lord, the vision culminates in the mind. Furthermore, because darshan of Bhagavan is achieved by the mind, this is not a material mind, it is the spiritual mind, or the heart, the core, Goro, the soul. Because darshan of Bhagavan is achieved by the mind, which is the only receptacle for experiencing the happiness of that vision, it is of no use to attempt to see him with one's eyes. Okay, so I'm going to end here, even though there's not too much more time, because it'll be more and more and more. Just in this case, what Pipalaya Rishi just said, I was thinking, right. As we have seen Gurudev with our eyes, but now we have that vision inside. And as we're remembering one, then more and more and more of those experiences or those pastimes are manifesting in our hearts. And that vision, that remembrance, is as if we are seeing it just now, except that it is bringing more and more revelation as well. That same experience, which at one time may have had one meaning, as one is progressing or even degressing, will bring about so many other meanings. We can look at any one little experience with Gurudev, and it's amazing how that one experience can reveal, according to our own practical position at the moment, wherever we are at any time, that one experience can reveal so many different kinds of jewels, so many different kinds of lessons can manifest. It is a dynamic experience. It's not just a stagnant thing, because he is transcendental. And so this is a case where Bhagavan can manifest before the material eyes in the form of Sri Guru. Jive shakshat nehitate Guru chaitya rupe. Because we cannot experience Paramatma directly with our material senses, he manifests directly before us to our material senses in the form of Sri Guru, in the form of the Dham, in the form of Thakurji, Shri Radha Dino Bihari Ji Ki Jai, in the form of Mahaprasad, in the form of so many different aspects actually. So maybe not in his moving form directly in front of our material eyes, but in so many ways he is manifesting before our material eyes to give us mercy. There's purification going on from external and purification going on from internal. It's like a tunnel being dug from both sides. At one point, they will meet. And that's when that flow can fully manifest. So we have been digging for millions of lifetimes somehow to come to the point where we are now, where we're able to hear about and remember the sweet pastimes of Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Krishna, the Vaishnavas, to serve Thakurji, to chant the Maha Mantra with some idea of how to approach it from our Goswamis, so close to the time of Mahaprabhu, with so much transcendental literature literally at our fingertips. As fast as we can type any mundane thing, we can also type Krishna or Radhe or about anything spiritual, and it can come to us. And Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, everything is there present for us. It is so unprecedented, such an amazing time. Even demigods are waiting to take birth in this Kali Yuga to take advantage of the opportunities which this particular Kali Yuga gives. It doesn't happen every Kali Yuga. This one is known as Dhanya, or very fortunate Kali Yuga, Dhanya Kali Yuga. In that bhajan, Ke Jabi Bhai, Bhava Sindhu Par. Dhanya Kali Juge Rache Tanya Yavatar Jabi Bhava Par. Dhanya Kali Yuga. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, imbued with the moods, the sentiments, and the complexion of Srimati Radhika, experiencing her love and affection for Krishna, has manifested in this particular Kali Yuga once every day of Brahma. That means his day and night. Once every 1,000 Mahayuga cycles, 8,640,000,000 years has passed since the last time that Krishna appeared and Mahaprabhu appeared. So samarpayitum means in such a long time. And somehow, by great mercy and by our intense, hard endeavor for millions of lifetimes, we have come to this point to be able to receive that mercy. And our Rupanuga Guru Varga, coming from Rupa Goswami, right into our lives, are giving us not only Harinam, but Diksha, relationship, awakening that relationship which is inside in the moods of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, in the moods of Rupa Goswami. They have given us everything. So right now a verse is manifesting and then we will end. Nama Shreshtham Manamapi. Shri Gurudev has given Harinam. Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam. He has given us relationship to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śrī Dāmodara Gosvāmī and so many others. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Gosvāmī, and all of our Goswamis. Urupurim Mathurim Goshtavatim, and residence in the holy Dham. Radha Kundam Girivarmaho. He has also given us relationship to, he has brought us to and given us Harikatha about Radha Kund and Giriraj Maharaj, Govardhan. Aho Radhika Madhavasham. And he has given us relationship, awakened our relationship with Shri Radha Madhava. Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tannatosmi. For all of these reasons, and the guaranteed assurance of attainment of these by Shri Gurudev, we are hopelessly indebted to Gurudev. And for that indebtedness, there is no way to repay. How can you repay someone who is giving you what is more valuable than millions of treasures of this world? There's only one way. Give yourself. Give yourself. And by that, naturally, when you begin to understand, realize, and appreciate, Srila Gurudev, we asked this question, we just listened to it the other day. When you begin to understand and appreciate this, what a valuable treasure Guru is giving, more valuable than millions of treasures of this world, without taking anything for himself, he's not asking for anything for himself, then automatically your love for Guru will develop. And automatically from there, very easily for Krishna, for Radha and Krishna. So we are in such an amazingly fortunate position. And when our Gurudevs say this, there's also another implication. What you have received, do not lose it. Don't give it up. You have worked so hard for this. The end is near. Perfection is almost there. Don't give up hope. Or as Gurudev would say, don't be hopeless. So this is an order by Gurudev, so we can't be hopeless. Then that means we have to be the opposite of hopeless. Always be hopeful. Samutkanta. Shantir avyartakalatvam viraktir manashunyata ashabandha. Ashabandha means always with firm hope. This is really our best friend and our greatest asset, this hope. And this hope should always remain burning. Always. That hope should be there. And with that hope, there should be that intense greed as well. Yes, it is possible. My Gurudev has assured me it is possible. He is a knower and seer of that truth. And I'm so close, so I should not let go. Hold on with everything and run as fast as I can. If we submit and surrender and hold on, then Śrīmad Bhagavatam says, for that person who does such, they can even run on that path with their eyes closed. So I'm praying that I might be able to one day run with my eyes closed even on that path. We don't need the eyes anyway. We experience through the heart. So Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. How many Kali Yugas in a day and night of Brahma? My understanding is there's 1,000 Mahayuga cycles in a day and another 1,000 at night. So Mahayuga means Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. I think maybe most of the time it's flipped around, but at this time Dvapara, which means the second, has come third and Treta has come before that. So there's 1,000 Kali Yugas, Mahayuga cycles in his day and 1,000 Mahayuga cycles in his night. So 2,000 Kali Yugas would have gone by without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests. And he manifests just after Krishna. So that would also be 2,000 Dvapara Yugas before Krishna appeared. And so we happen to come at this time. At the time of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Srila Prabhupada. At the time of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. At the time of Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. At the time of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, at the time of Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj, at the time of Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Maharaj. You know who your guru is, if I have not said his name. Whoever is pure and transcendental and who can bring us to Krishna, we have actually come at that time, and somehow we are able to receive their grace and their mercy. So for us, we should see that it is the most unprecedented, hopeful thing. What a great opportunity. And the key to success is to seize that opportunity. So praying that our Gurudev and Guru Varga will give us the mercy, the blessings to be able to seize that opportunity. And we should also make that endeavor ourselves, take responsibility for ourselves to hold on and not let go. Gurudev will hold us, but we also have to hold. Both are necessary. Gurudev is pulling the rope. We're in the well. We have to somehow tie that rope around us. Gurudev will do the hard lifting, but we have to do something. We have to do something. Gurudev said, you want me to eat the rasgulla, chew it, swallow it, and then you want to get all the benefit? It means all of my hard, many years of intense sadhana bhajan, you just want to get the benefit just like that? You also must do something. So, from his side, kripa is there, and from our side, we must make the endeavor. That is our cheshta. And then where those two meet, that is where perfection comes. That is how Krishna is bound. Mother Yashoda's binding Krishna takes place when Krishna's mercy meets her hard endeavor. Then she's able to bind Krishna. Krishna is bound by that hard endeavor with love and affection. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Devaki really wants that pineapple upside down cake. So yeah, she wrote Cheshta and Kripa. Jai. Let's do it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, refresh it, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo,
That's right.
Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Jai Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gurupal Guruvarga ki jai, Patipavan Śrī Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachidananda Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ji ki jai, Radha Ramana Ji ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Hari Nama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Govinda Namo Dharmāni, Govinda Namo Dharmāni, Govinda Namo Dharmāni, Govinda Namo Dharmāni. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Hari Ram ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaura Premanande, Hari.
Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, and also to just allow us to remember so many beautiful pastimes and interactions with Srila Gurudev. Also, we'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, to follow his order, which is our life and soul. Without you, we probably wouldn't be able to do this, so we cannot express our indebtedness enough. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Braj Mandal
Krishna.
Prabhu and family, thank you so much for this beautiful outfit for Thakurji. I think they're very, very pleased. And Sudevi, where's our rotis?
Ooh.
Radhe Radhe,
Radha
Dandavat
Bihari
Pranam.
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sacinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai.